Hello everyone, Gabriel, and this video is a devlog for a game I made for the quarantine jam that took place over the weekend. The theme of the jam was park, and I had an idea to make a game about a boy who woke up late for school and he has to park so as not to miss the school bus. I started by creating a new project, importing the Unity standard assets pack, from which I got the first person controller. I then set up a simple scene which I would use for testing. Next, I browsed through the asset store looking for houses and house interiors. I eventually found the furnished cabin pack and was comfortable with it and decided to use it. The link for the asset will be in the description. I then began programming by creating a cursor lock script which locks the cursor to the screen while the user is playing, and assigned it to an empty game object in the scene. Then an interaction script that allows the player to get up information about objects in the scene and also pick up specific objects. The crosshair I used for the game was a sphere right in front of the camera to give the impression that there was a tiny dot in the middle of the screen, and I feel it's something I would play around some more with, using 3D objects as crosshairs, because I actually found the idea very fascinating and decided to try it out. I created an interface that defines how each object will be interacted with by the player and has a name property that stores the name of each object. I then tested this out and it was working very fine. Next was searching for UI for waypoint indication that displays where an object is and how far the player is from that object. In the waypoint indication script, I created an array of targets and waypoint indicators that assigns each target to a particular waypoint indicator, and this was very useful for destroying game objects after they've been picked up. So this was a problem while using arrays, so I changed that to a list that will allow me to remove at a particular index without throwing up out of bounds exception. Next, I got the Tunga Station environment assets for my level design. Also, I will leave a link for that in the description. I quickly imported it and created a basic layout of how the scene would look at the end. I also got a boss model from CG Trader. The next thing I did was I created a countdown timer for the player that will determine how long the player has left before the boss leaves, and added a UI to display the timer on the screen, added an animation for when the time was 10 seconds and changed the color of the text to red to indicate that the time left for the player was very little. Next, I imported the furnished cabin asset which I downloaded earlier and began setting it up in the scene. I then got some commonly used school stationaries which the player would have to pick up and pack up before the bus leaves, and scattered them across different places in the house. I then attached the interaction scripts to the object to test out the player picking them up, and they worked just as I wanted them to. Next, I created an animation for the door that would open the door when all the objects in the room have been collected, and this was working fine as well. I also added a script to detect player collision with the boss and a short animation to portray the boss leaving the street. And now it was time for the level design, which I did as quickly as I could because I was down to a few hours at this point. Design is not exactly one of my strong points, but I was very comfortable and happy with how it eventually turned out. I tried to leave out extra details details on areas of the scene where the player would never eventually get to see because it would have been a waste of my time. Now that I was done designing the outside environment, I then populated the inside of the house with different items which the player would have to pick up. I then added the interaction scripts to all the objects in the scene and then tested this out, and it was working very well to my satisfaction. It was time to add post-processing, and I looked up the documentation on the Unity website and decided to play around with it a bit until I found what I was looking for. I added some ambient occlusion, color grading, vignette, chromatic aberration, bloom and motion blur to my satisfaction. And finally, with about 3 hours left, I quickly designed a main menu for the player. I was very tense at this point, so I couldn't really do much. I also added some new levels and some level transition animations to give a seamless feel when moving from one level to another. And then I quickly built the project and submitted with about 43 minutes to spare. Overall, this project took me 12 hours to complete, cut across 2 days, Saturday and Sunday. It was a bit stressful, but it was a very fun and exciting experience which I hope to be doing more of. The link to the project will be in the description. Thank you for watching. Don't forget to like, subscribe and also check out my other devlogs on my multiplayer FPS which I am currently working on. Have a wonderful day.